Yo, make sure we're live on Rockfin. Yeah. After all that, I love you. You're the best shit. You can't even get that right. Look at you. Wow, I cursed within the first 30 seconds, so I think that's going to be bad. Well, that's if we cut it up and put it into a video. We're okay. We're 30 seconds past. Guys, it's Friday, Dress Up Friday. As you can see, I chose to dress up like a bum. It's cold in Florida. It's like 55 degrees. Unbelievable. I want my money back. For those of you in New York and Washington, D.C. Sorry, no, just kidding. That's not true. If my mom wasn't sick right now, I would be in... what's making that noise? Oh, it's in the background. That's love. I love that. If my mom wasn't sick, I'd be in New York right now. I think there's so much going on in New York. Albert Bourla, though, he got embarrassed the other day. We're going to get into that. But in New York, Mayor Adams and that whole deal with the Trump administration, it's like, hey, pardon me, and we'll work with ICE. That, I mean, it's crazy. Look, I mean, it's so nuts right now. I know that the excuse from every single person on the populist right is that, well, why shouldn't Donald Trump serve executive orders? That's what the people want. And Joe Biden signed executive orders. Yeah, I didn't like it when Joe Biden signed a bunch of executive orders. It's not how you do business. Zero checks and balances. And a lot of things he's doing, he knows is just symbolic. It's going to be shot down in the courts. The Congress has the power of the purse. Can't just change that. And the other day, him making himself the head of the SEC, you can't do that. I mean, the rules say you can remove somebody for certain reasons, and you can take that to the public forum and try to get that done. And speaking about public forum, same thing in New York. If, in fact, the governor has the power to remove the mayor if she feels he's committed corruption or fraud or something illegal, but then she has to have within 30 days a public forum where she has to be the prosecutor, judge and jury, the whole 9 yards. So interesting stuff going on over there. A lot of people will say that what happened with Mayor Adams is political. He was attacked for political reasons, but nonetheless, his lawyers go into the State Department and telling, hey, Trump's administration, pardon me, and I'll work with ICE is crazy. That's going on in New York right now. Luigi Mangione, I think he shows up today at 2:00. And 1 hour from now, I think he's going to appear in court. So we'll be paying attention to that. That's New York. And obviously, the WBAI studios are there. I want to get into the studios before they kick me out altogether. But, I'm not saying that. Nobody said anything negative to me yet. I haven't had any negative feedback. Actually, a producer reached out on Facebook and was really mad. She seemed very shit-libby, if that means anything. I saw her with a Bloomberg 2020 sign in one of her posts. So I don't know what other word to use for that, Cultural war leftist, synthetic leftist of sorts. Free Luigi! I'm not saying that. I'm being neutral. Anyways, let's bring in my man over here. You know him as the guy behind the scenes, the guys on the ones and twos. It's very kind of unique that this guy came to work with me and help me out and be by my side. And he also has a food nickname. Ladies and gentlemen, Jayme CheeseSlice Thistle is in.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. 2 days in a row for me being actually on the show and hosting.
Yeah.
So that's
I like what you did. You had yesterday's shirt. You just put a sweater over it. Very nice. I did the same thing.
No, this is a different shirt.
Sure.
Totally different shirt.
Sure. So, Jayme, before you were with us, Oz was doing shows. Before Oz, it was Johnny. In the middle of Johnny and Oz and that kind of switchover when Johnny went to go do some of his own things, eventually ended up working for Kim Iverson and now has his own business. He still makes my monologue videos, which have been getting a lot of success. Those are pretty awesome. Yeah, Gabrielle Freedom says, good to see you, Jayme. Love seeing you on the show, Jayme.
Good to hear from you, Gabrielle.
Yes. I asked Siri, call Gabrielle. She was like, who the fuck is Gabrielle calling Gabrielle Freedom? The one good commercial is that you might have seen it online. Like, Alexa, find me directions. And Siri goes, who the fuck is Alexa? Oh, sorry, Siri. I mean, Can you give me directions to New York? Why don't you ask that bitch Alexa for directions to New York?
Yeah, I would love to have a sassy Siri or a sassy Alexa. So they talk back to you instead
Yeah.
of them always being nice and neutral all the time. That's so boring. I'd rather
I
them
did
just
once put the what do you call it? The directional things when you get in drive directions, whatever you call
Mhm.
that thing. I put it on Mr. T voice. That was pretty fun.
Mr. T. I know
Make a
some people
left,
have done Morgan
fool.
Freeman.
Straight ahead, fool.
I've seen people have Morgan
Make a
Freeman.
U-turn, turkey.
Somebody was joking about doing Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't think you could handle that. That would just get
When you misunderstand, you get lost. You get lost. All right, guys. So here's what's going on today. I brought Jayme on. We're going to play one quick clip. And if you haven't heard, I think. Why am I echoing?
it's not me, is it?
You have it. Do you have something on there?
No, I don't hear an echo, but
I
you
do. I
could
hear
be
my
hearing.
voice. I do. It's playing in a.
Could be me.
It was you. Come on, Jayme. Get your shit together. All right. So, what would you? Are you live on Rockfin yet? Yes.
Yes, we are. It was me. I had my webcam mic on instead of my good mic, so I should sound a lot better now. You didn't tell me I sounded like crap.
Now we're supposed. I was just about to announce me. Fee will be back on Monday. I think she might be flying that day or have something going on, so she might not be
That's right.
back on Monday. So,
That's right.
And guys, it's like a lazy Friday, so I didn't.
It is like
show. On Monday
we didn't know Fee wasn't going to be here until about an hour ago.
She's on assignment. She's in
Yes.
Lebanon because she had announced that on her Twitter, so you can see that. So she's collecting together a lot of work, a lot of footage, and you can go check that out. I think she's at Nasrallah's funeral, and she was invited to go. So, so yes, dang, no notification, Shelly. This happens all the time, Shelly, all the time. So,
yeah.
What's the name of the title you put on this thing?
I called it Trump introduces the head of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, and the crowd boos.
Got it. What do you mean? Somebody put down, hi, pasta, I guess. Yes, Shelly. Thank you. Guys, share this out. Right now, we got a ton of views over on Fiorella's Twitter, which is always good. We got some decent numbers on my Twitter, but we can make a few bucks over there. The TruthWire and Pasta to Go. If you want to leave a super chat, you can go over the Pasta to Go. That channel is demonetized. It's also censored too, and they demonetize all the individual videos.
Wait, let me correct you. This channel, TruthWire, is demonetized. Pasta to Go is monetized.
Sorry.
So if you want to leave a super chat on YouTube, go to Pasta to Go and do it over there.
Mm-hmm. They demonetize the videos from Pasta to Go, so it's hard to make money there too as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get notifications. And it's ever since we did a show with Wyatt Reed talking about the Putin Tucker interview, they kind of sacked that channel. So yeah.
Oh, we're on the list of all the people who get censored constantly, no matter what we do. It's the numbers on Pasta to Go have just been terrible, but we're still going. I mean, we do Left on Left every Thursday, and that's with Gloria and Jeremy Kuzmarov.
Mm-hmm.
You're the executive producer on that show.
Yes, I am.
And then I edit those videos I edit the audio from those videos to go onto the radio for WBAI.
Yeah.
But you can watch us record the whole thing live on every Thursday over on Pasta to Go.
Sure.
And we had just had Garland Nixon. It was a fun
It was a great show talking about the origins of COVID. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, since we had a lot of videos that we had on Rockfin only. And I know there's been a lot of chatter about Rockfin all over the place. It's crazy because literally I called Steve real quickly to see if he could jump on, and he's doing a show over there, AM Wake Up, the weekly review wrap up. And I was like, hey, man, he had me on the phone, and he goes, you're live. And I didn't even know it. And I said, be careful with those going to fight with people with Rockfin online. And the whole panel laughed because they were literally going over the back and forth with Rockfin. And unfortunately, we're on Rockfin today on the TruthWire, which used to be the Convo Couch. You know, unfortunately, the site itself, the Rockfin platform, has taken a little bit of a nosedive. The currency has taken a nosedive. Um, and it's become an unfriendly place for content creators to work. I know there's some resentment there because, you know, we started the AM Wake Up Show over there, and it was on Rockfin only at first. And we really had a great crowd, and we were one of the most watched shows in the morning by far. I mean, we did a 3-hour live stream, and we got no love, no attention, no help, no promotion from the platform itself. And meanwhile, they were promoting other guys that eventually, I think Eddie Bravo took a walk. He used to put all his stuff up there. Now he's not even on there. They tried to build the platform around him, which it became like a Truther platform, which I thought was good. But a lot of people kind of abandoned it and ignored it because they've been ignored themselves. And, you know, they give a lot of attention to what they call the anti-imperialist left that are no longer there. People who really didn't care about them. You know, Ben Norton got some love and stuff, and we got left out in the cold. You know, we really did. And if Martin, what's his name, Floriani, who's my friend, I consider him my friend. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's the CEO of the platform. If you'd like to pick up the phone and call me and speak to me, that would be great. But I haven't heard from anybody from that platform in 6 months. We are still getting paid for them, so they've been honest with us. You know, we got a delay, but Indy had complained that he hadn't gotten money from them in a while. Indie news media. So there is some discrepancies over there. I'd like to find a solution to what's going on and try to help, you know, get everything straightened out. Yeah, man, Burmis was awesome. I mean, Burmis, Nico, they really promoted these platforms hard, and they were part of the success. And let me just say this much too, Jayme, and I'll hand it right to you, that they were, thank God, because they were actually a savior to us. When we got demonetized from YouTube, we tried to bring as many people over to Rockfin as possible. And we really bought all our stuff over there. At one point, the videos you're going to see were only seen on Rockfin. They were never seen on YouTube. They were never seen on Twitter until today. You're going to see them for the first time. So I want to tip my hat off for Rockfin for doing so. But you got a lot of stuff to make up. And you really, if you want to save this thing, you got to start communicating with those who've really put their time and their muscle into it. And some of those were ignored before this downfall. So there's a lot of work to be done. And if you want to do it, you can do it. But if not, you're going to have nothing left to speak of because it's almost lights out over there. Go ahead, Jayme.
Yeah. And the thing is, Rockfin and Rumble both kind of came around at the same time. And I feel like Rumble has won that competition. They're the ones who grown where Rockfin's kind of stagnated. And I don't know what it is going on over there and why they treating like shows like this a certain way, but it's just become somewhat unreliable.
Yeah.
And the audience, the alternative audience for YouTube is definitely going to Rumble now. That's where everybody's going when they get kicked off of YouTube. And I don't know. I mean, it does seem like Rumble or Rockfin is struggling, and it's not helping the people who are there to help them boost it up. But like 3 years ago, it was doing fairly well, but
yeah,
they didn't make changes to adjust with bringing in a bigger audience, and now Rumble has it. So I don't.
Dude, he just texted me this morning. By the way,
who did?
Kit. It's his birthday
yesterday.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
So he's not. He was like, "Hey man, I'm just checking to see how you're doing, dude." He's not. He's nudging me to say, "Call me and say happy birthday, motherfucker." Why didn't you just say so?
I know. I was going to bring this up later.
Well, you know.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about Kit, let's go ahead and bring up our sponsor for the show.
Wait a second. What is this?
We got Kit Coin.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. What do you mean? They made me
just stomped on my joke there, Pasta, but we can go on to the other thing.
Sorry, I got caught. I do the joke. You got something?
Well, we were talking about Kit. I was just going to talk about Kit Coin.
Go.
You see the scroll across the bottom?
Yes.
It's just Kit Coin is for people who wear pants. Anyway, you squashed the joke.
Dude, Kit Coin would be great now that the Libra got fucking
I know.
My bad. I'm so sorry. I don't have the time. I don't have the timing with you down yet. You know, usually you're behind the scenes. We have to work together. All right, listen. Well, I'll commit to working with you more here, get you more screen time, so we can get. So I won't stomp on your next joke.
That's okay. Let's move on to what you wanted to talk about.
What is this about? Can somebody explain that to me? Just because we have differences, they made me look bad.
I don't know. I mean, the last time you were on with Nick like about a year ago, right? And you were talking
Nick
about.
Nick was. I mean, we did a show like a month ago.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you went on his show like a year ago and had like a disagreement, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but that was a friendly
bad. I
Discord.
mean, you guys just had a
yeah,
difference of
we
opinion.
did have a Discord. We had a difference on something. Grape, you snitched. He did. he or she did. Is Grape a girl or a guy? You snitch. And look at Shelly. You snitched on the snitcher, Shelly.
Well, we all know
Rumble
what
is
happens
taken
to
over by
snitches.
Trump tech bros, and people are exiting. BitChute has streaming, and I go there now and avoid Rumble. Well, I want to see what's going on with Odyssey, right? So Odyssey's going to do some stuff.
Odyssey is probably.
And Rumble's
the
always been
alternative to
the conservative YouTube. So that's what I'm saying. Rockfin had its own lane, its own thing.
It did.
Really, it did. It really was. And you know, and the crypto thing was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't mind the crypto. It was a little hassle here and there, but you know, it was what it was. Grape, what are you talking about?
Okay,
Grape, say something in the chat.
This is what you're talking to.
How they make me look bad? Explain to me. BitChute, yeah, whatever, Popeye. I don't understand. I don't know though. BitChute, butt shoot. He put butt.
See, it's bad when you bring me on because I laugh at some of these
because you're like you
chats.
laugh at all the dad jokes, man.
Yeah, I do. I laugh. Yeah, I have a very bad sense of humor or dark sense of humor. So I laugh at all the stuff you're not supposed to laugh at.
Let's put Kit on the. Let's do the Kit what they just did to me. Hold on. Let's call this motherfucker right now. Y'all are laughing. We're gonna call Kit Cabello right now.
I hope he answers.
He will. He always answers my calls. He knows better. I hope to God he answers so I don't look like a schmuck. My God, he's not going to answer?
Tell him he's on the air. Say, do the radio thing.
Dude, I just made an ass out of myself.
He's not going to answer. He's doing all his birthday shenanigans.
Please leave your message for
bastard.
Kit Cabello.
Well, at least that's proof it's his number.
Kit, we are live, and I just wanted to say, is everything okay? He texted me. I'm gonna say, Kit, we're live. You just text me, is everything okay? I'm gonna say no. Call me. Let's see what he says. Call me.
He might be busy.
Sorry, I can only text right now. Yeah, fuck. Leave it alone. I should have said happy birthday. Call me when you can.
All right. Well, this is our happy birthday to Kit. He ruined it by not showing up to his surprise birthday party. It was a surprise to us because
wait, the surprise birthday party is tomorrow. It's no longer a surprise.
No, this was the surprise because you didn't know it was his birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Pie might have it. He might know what's going on.
Pasta's show lost many people after that. That's not true. That's not true. It's not why. And I know some of his people call me racist. I had some of the conversations with people online. You know what I'm saying? But Sabby, Jayme Font, Nick, we talk. You know, I talk to Nick more than anybody here and there, and I'll touch base with Sabby. And Jayme Font was on the morning show. And Rome, those guys never, ever said I was a racist or anything else. Maybe some of their people will interpret it that way. And, you know, when you have people from the Black Liberation Movement, Black Freedom Movement. Oh, wait, Kit Cabello. Watch this. Ready, guys?
Was he calling?
Oh, yeah, boy. Here we go.
Okay.
Kit, you're live.
I know. You told me that. How you doing, brother?
You can hear that voice anywhere around there. But I wanted to sing happy birthday to you live with the guest in the audience, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to embarrass you and stuff. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm having a real good day off. It feels very, very refreshing. And, you know, there's something else I wanted to say to you, too. On behalf of everybody from Hardlands Media, myself, and Daniel Lucker, we just want to just thank you for your friendship, man. Like this past year and even this year, man, you have been a real bedrock and somebody that I can call a brother. You've been doing phenomenal work. I know you rebranded your channel and network, and I just want to say to you, man, you have been one of the dauntless few and somebody that I really respect in this business. You don't hold anything back. I saw you on Due Dissidence show, and just on behalf of me and Daniel and everybody, I hope the whole audience can hear this too. Everybody, seriously, we are just so grateful for everything. And it just means the world to me and Daniel and the Hardlands media team. And thank you for calling me, man, dude. Sorry I couldn't pick up right away. I was kind of between a rock and a hard place.
It's okay. It's your birthday. It's your day off. And man, appreciate all that stuff. You know, you're my brother. I love you. I love Daniel. Thank you so much. But you know, no matter how much you compliment me, and you know how genuine it is, you still know that New York pizza is better than Chicago pizza, and it's just.
All right. You know what? Let me be clear about the superiority of Chicago pizza, because today is my day. The last I remember, we won the election. We won the election, and we were very generous and kind. We are the princeps, the first among equals. So that means we are first. Everyone is equal, but Chicago-style pizza is the first among equals. So there you go. We're just number one, okay? We are the Augustus. We are the true Romans, as we should be.
That's not what the emperor says. The emperor says, plain and simple, that New York pizza is the best.
That is heresy. Heresy in my book.
It's violence.
It's violence. Kit, we're going to get on to the show. We love you. Oh, my God. Gabrielle says, what do you think about Costco pizza?
Costco pizza is very delicious.
Oh, my God. No, see, this is why. Like, I was willing to, like, at least make some adjustments to my statement and say, okay, to give a stamp of approval for good Chicago pizza. But then you go and you get this, my engineer friend and producer of the show, and we have these arguments over Costco pizza. And now you have Jayme saying, oh, I go to Costco, you got to get the pizza. It's disgusting. It's terrible.
No, it's good. It's very nice.
Hey, you don't disrespect the Costco. Just like when anyone else makes fun of William Dafoe, you make fun of the Dafoe, then you have got to go.
Dude, we're going to get to the show. We love you, brother. Thank you so much. Happy birthday. 40 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Kit Cabello, not only just one of my colleagues, but a very good friend. Love the dude and love spending time with him. Unfortunately, he never comes anywhere I'm at. I always got to go to Chicago to see him. So we'll probably see each other soon again when I get to Chicago.
Listen, when things get freed up for me very soon, and hopefully soon, I'm going to be doing a whole nationwide tour.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
You've been saying that for 7 years, pal. 7 fucking years now. You've been, I'm going to get down there to see you. But no, I haven't seen you yet.
It's in the works. Trust me on it. And it's just going to be one hell of a story. Much love to you, brother.
Have a good one, buddy. Say hi to Daniel.
Yep.
I will.
And happy birthday, Tante Gori. See you, buddy.
Happy birthday, Kit.
All right, that's Kit Cabello, ladies and gentlemen. Hardlands Media, happy birthday. Yeah, let's get to it. But let me just say to the person in the chat who was saying that stuff, Grape, yeah, I know what you're saying. I didn't lose a lot of people after that. That was really, to tell you the truth, I've been kind of consistent in my feelings. I mean, obviously, I've developed and I've had changes, and, you know, you see stuff, and it kind of, you know, navigates your opinions or your ideology along the way, and that has happened, right? So I guess there were things I believed 7 years ago before I started this that I don't believe now. I didn't lose anybody from that. You know, I think that before that, when we were considered like Democratic Party, and there was a lot of us, me and Fiorella, because we would go to the Democratic conventions like in, you know, 2020, my second choice was thank you, Kit. My second choice was Bernie Sanders. My first choice was Tulsi Gabbard. For Fee, it was the other way around. So we can say up until about 5 years ago, we were still kind of considered Democratic Party people. So what's up, Frederick Airwaves? So when that happened, when we left the Democratic Party, that's when we lost some people, but we also gained people there, right? You know, I think there was that kind of whole movement of all of us. You know, like there was a bunch of us who went that way. A lot of people from the MCSC network, for sure. Nico and whatnot, we were like, all right, we're bouncing, we're done. And there was a lot of people who stayed behind and was like, no, you got to play the lesser of two evil game. You got to stay here. The Democrats will always be better than the Republicans. We lost that. We lost people when we talked about elections because, unfortunately, they thought that was supporting Donald Trump when you just talked about the transparency and the fairness of elections. So we lost people there. We lost people during the COVID protocols. We lost people when we started talking about Second Amendment rights, when we were kind of switching our opinions. So we lost people along the way. I would say I never left the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left us, right?
Yeah.
It no longer became the party of the left. And it's just occupying the space where the left should be. And it's more of a, culture war, conservative when it comes to
I think it's
foreign
worse than
policy in our
occupying
party,
space.
right?
They're pretending to be a left party and they're the gatekeepers of left-wing discourse.
Mhm.
But it's a right-wing party that decides what left-wingers get to talk about.
Yeah.
Because they're the
right-wingers
leftmost
will
of
say
two
no
right-wing
way
parties.
just because of the culture war, because of the woke shit. But you got
They
your
do.
own
They actually
yeah.
adopt that because that woke stuff, the culture war stuff, has nothing to do with legislation. So
Yeah.
it doesn't affect their actual donors. So they can take that left-wing rhetoric and they take some of the worst versions of it and push it forward as their platform.
So Fee, Pasta, and RBM are the only channels I watch anymore. Even Aaron Matei in the Gray Zone has some PMC takes. That's managerial class, right?
Yeah.
What's the first P stand for?
It's not private. It's a professional
managerial class takes. Yeah, they do. And they, unfortunately, I think Aaron Matei and both Max Blumenthal got to spend more time in the truther community, right? They still suck on 9/11. I'll tell them that to their faces. Like, you guys suck on 9/11, right? But I think that's also, too, as well, because that kind of, if 9/11 is, if people think that 9/11 is what they told us, the marketing that was told to us, from the government, that kind of solidifies and justifies a lot of the work they've done in Syria. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's a reason why they might stand behind their takes on 9/11. But they do some great work too. I mean, Anya's book,
they're some of the best investigated.
I mean, they really do some great work, and there's a lot of things. I disagree with a lot of things too as well. Now, let me say this much. Also, RBN the other day, I watched about 25 minutes of Nick at Night thing about AOC and Bernie Sanders with their comments and the video of Bernie Sanders saying all that stuff. We talked about it yesterday on the Homeless Left. That was some of the best takes I've seen in a while that, Nick has. And it was really quality freaking work. And I understand why he's growing and why people watch him. I mean, his stuff on the whole Israeli dude in Miami shooting the other Israelis thinking they were Palestinians. His take on that was amazing. It was great. His Hotspot video. He works for Hotspot with Nico House.
Yeah, he's getting really good at putting together his arguments and presenting them in a good way for people to absorb them.
Yeah. But I mean, we have some differences. We have some disagreements. Yeah. That's okay. There ain't nothing but love there, man. Ain't nothing but love and respect for RBN, right? And I disagree with a lot of things that Sabby Sass says. I disagree with things that Rome says. But that doesn't mean we don't got love for each other and respect for each other. And you've never seen me respect them, disrespect them. You might have seen
big picture, we're all on the same page.
Yeah. I mean,
we're on the same
like I
team.
said, sometimes I disagree with them. And I disagree with them on ideology. But here's the thing. In this business, we'll have that. People, their fans, their followers, they'll take it to the next level. They will. And just because they'll take it to the next level doesn't mean that Nick, Sabby, Rome, and JB Font endorse the way they do that. I don't endorse anybody going at them that way. You know what I'm saying? Right. I thought when they had a big disagreement, when Nick was so wrong about stuff with Steve, I thought that Steve handled it in a proper way. I thought that Nick handled it in a proper way. Nobody was disrespectful. They just were strongly disagreeing with each other. And that's okay. That's okay. That's good. And
we're supposed to have those disagreements, and it's good to have them publicly and air it out and talk about it, and then talk about the stuff after the fact
Yeah.
and how it went, and then maybe think about what you said. Maybe was I wrong? Were they right?
Yeah.
And you want to analyze that stuff, but you got to have these conversations with people you disagree with, and it's best to do it with people you agree with on other stuff. So it's coming from a place of good faith
Oh yeah.
when you have these arguments.
Totally love
There's-
the dudes and girls and stuff. And one of the areas I thought they were really wrong about
Just you're
was
supposed to ignore that.
COVID. One of the areas I thought, it's and that's and listen, Nico House said something a long time ago. If you're not covering COVID when it happens, then you're not doing justification to journalism. That's what's going on right now. As the fourth estate, you need to report on it. You need to hold the government accountable, big tech accountable, big pharma accountable. That's our job. We're here to hold power accountable. That's what the journalism is all about. That's the reason why I started doing this, and I will continue to doing this. And just the other day, we had Donald Trump. Now, Jayme, I'm kind of curious to see how I've never asked you this before. Let's see, right? So you know that we were leftists in the medical freedom movement. I got to cover Defeat the Mandates in January in DC. I got to be one of the MCs, the one in LA. I was part of that whole crew. I was introduced. This is a common sense leftist, they said. I couldn't understand why so many people on the left, progressive wise, that would get in the streets to protest for Medicare for all and rage against the big pharma companies, all of a sudden just bent the knee and capitulated. What is your thought process on that, on why they maybe did that, Jayme?
Well, that is I find it bizarre too. It's like you've got these people who are telling you to be distrustful of the government, but now all of a sudden we're trusting this. And I do think for a lot of people, when it came to health services, we did trust the government, because before COVID started, I did still kind of believe that stuff. I did still believe they're not going to lie to us about this. Yes, they lied to us about wars and all the stuff we do overseas, but they're supposed to care about their own citizens, right?
Yeah.
I think even I was subjected to that line of thinking a little bit going into the pandemic. It's like, well, they don't want to have a massacre on their hands with just a ton of people just dying left and right, and they at least care about it on that level. That was the thinking I was going through. So you still had trust in the CDC and those organizations as if they were actually trying to do what's right by us. But I think it was pretty quick to see that when they weren't where they're telling people to stay home and they weren't taking care of them financially and leaving everybody out there to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
You also add to the fact that they're not doing anything about healthcare for universal healthcare. So they don't care about our health in that way, but for some reason they just care about us not dying to COVID. But if you die from diabetes or from heart failure or from like kidney diseases, whatever, they don't care about that. You're on your own. But this one thing we care about for some reason. And it just started as the pandemic went through, like I lost all trust I used to have, any trust I had in those institutions that were supposed to be protecting us. I don't have any trust for that anymore at all. But I think a lot of us that were in this space, we were on the same page before the pandemic. There's a lot of us that totally bought into the government not lying to us in those areas, like the CDC, health, anything that having to do with health concerns. Like, we've got to listen to the authorities on this because they're trying to do what's best for us. I don't believe that anymore. They're not looking out for us. They're not doing what's best for us.
Yeah.
And it's like there was this cognitive dissonance, at least for me, where I knew they were lying about war, but they weren't. But I couldn't accept that they were lying about our health care, even though I knew they weren't going to give us health like Medicare for all or anything like that. I thought they still were cared about, like at least the science, and they had integrity in that area, which they don't.
Yeah.
And it took the pandemic is what broke me free of it. But there's a lot of people who were in the space that we were all together with beforehand who still believe that. They still believe in it. And I don't know. why they can't see that with this government that constantly lies to us about everything. They're always lying to us. The media is always lying to us, but they're believing that one area. It blows my mind. I don't understand why they do it, or why people still buy into it. And when it comes to science, you're supposed to question it.
All right.
Because that's how science gets stronger, is it holds up. You're supposed to be able to hold up to the skeptics and say, if you can stand up to the questioning, that means you're solid. But this stuff wasn't able to stand up to the questioning.
The censoring of voices was one of the biggest, I think, sins of COVID, right? Like I want to talk about the deadly sins of COVID, and there's so many different things about it. When you look into it, we were looking into it real time, and I want to go through some old videos. We talked about Carrie Mullis. I have old videos with Dr. David Martin. We were talking about this stuff in real time. I mean, even my ivermectin video came out 3 months before Pierre Corey's on the Dark Horses, like 4 months almost before.
Mm-hmm.
We were so ahead of it. But the whole thing is, it took a lot of guts, right? We knew what we were doing was going to put us in the doghouse. Me, Fiorella, Johnny, and we held back a little bit at first. We were like, all right, because we wanted to stay on YouTube. We understood what was going on. We were trying to figure things out. We were doing our own research. We were looking into things. I'm glad we were there today. I mean, we're still paying a price for it. We're still demonetized. Yeah. Even Shelly said that you have to go looking for Fee now. She's got almost 200. I think she's got over 200,000 followers on Twitter, and you still got to go look for her and search her. I keep going backwards on Twitter. I put these videos out. I do these things, and all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm just fucking going backwards. I know I'm on some list, and there's certain people that I don't even follow. One of them I used to follow. 2 of them I never followed. They keep showing up in my feed. We need some serious transparency online. But anyways, let's go and play the video. Let's talk about this, because we were talking in real time of Pfizer, what was going on. I want to take that off there. Sorry. We want to show some of our old videos in Pfizer that we made 3-4 years ago, telling people about what they're all about, right? But why you recommend a horse paste, yo, Pasta? Because it made you strong as a horse. So let's talk about this, because the other day Donald Trump introduced Albert Bourla, and I don't get it, because now he has RFK on his team, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's great, RFK is there." And the day he got RFK, the day he was endorsed by RFK, 2 days later at the debate, he started talking about ventilators. Ventilators are good. It's like he's not getting this message. He's not understanding. And there's all these people from the medical freedom movement who have now endorsed Daddy Vaccine, the godfather of the vaccine. And he won't stop. He just won't stop. Let's take a look at this. This is him announcing Albert Bourla the other day at an event. We're not announcing, we're just acknowledging him. And listen to the crowd.
We also have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen. Thank you, Albert. Thank you.
I love the booze.
Thank you very much. We also have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to.
Can we listen to the booze again?
Yeah, just listen to it.
Okay.
Thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen. Thank you.
And this isn't a closed environment.
The White
Those
House.
are MAGA booze. Those
You
are
can
MAGA
play it.
booze.
Go back a little bit and play it so you can.
Thank you very much. We also have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen. Thank you, Albert. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, right?
The health insurance and pharma people, they're not very popular in America. I wonder why.
I don't know where Donald Trump's at. Listen, guys, people made excuses for that. He was smiling. Haha, the con man doing it again. I mean, guys, holy shit. I mean, this guy he'll do anything for the ruling class, for big pharma, for big tech. So he's been praising big tech. He's been praising big pharma, and everybody's trying to these ideas that USAID, that he's getting rid of NED. I'll talk about that shit any day of the week. The behavior isn't changing of the regime change industrial complex. They're still going to do what they have to do. They've used USAID in the past. USAID is nothing more than the PR firm for the regime change head, the NED, which was started during the Reagan administration and right in the middle of the Iran-Contra, knowing that they're going to have to come up with some mechanism to kind of push for their regime change instead of the CIA putting crack cocaine on the streets, selling it through Freeway Rick Ross, and then buying weapons and giving to the opposition in Iran and the opposition in fucking Nicaragua. They knew they had to change. So, and then they used it to embezzle a bunch of money. So it's just going to be reappropriated somewhere else. It's not like they're changing the behavior. Nothing has changed. They're cutting the fat. Oh, we found all this waste, right? Oh, so people say, you're going to give us a check? Oh, for $5,000. Take that check and shove it up your ass. That's blood money. There's blood all over that money.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to send it back, and you're not even sending a real big portion of it back. Send 50,000 to each person out there. Send 50,000. It's still less than you gave fucking Israel. How much is 50,000 to 330 million people? You want to know what it is? Let's do the math on that really quickly. Ready? Here we go. 50,000 to 330 million. Right? That's how many people there are in the United States, right?
Well, you should probably put it around 300 million.
No, I'm going to do 330 million.
Well, there's a lot of people who just aren't part of who wouldn't be getting that.
What's 1.65 E113? What's that? I don't even know. Didn't give me
Like, you can't count children and stuff like that.
Why not?
Because they don't get the checks.
All right. Can you figure it out for me? Because this is not. It's giving me 1.65 E. What is that? Jayme?
Oh, I know. You're getting scientific notation.
Yeah, and it's not on science though.
So it's what are you doing? The $5,000 divided or
50,000. 50,000 times 300 million. Give me the number. 50. If you gave 50,000, you know.
Yeah, that would be. Is that 15 trillion? No, that could be right. Or is it billion? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's trillion.
Is that a trillion?
Yeah. It's 12 zeros, 15 and 12 zeros.
So it's how many trillion?
Let me double check that. That can't be right.
I think that's million. I think that's billion.
I mean, it could be like 150 billion. But I think it's 15 trillion is what it. Let me do it again.
So how many? All right.
$50,000.
All right. How many people can get a check?
300 million people. 1, 2, 3.
That's every little baby and kid, so they can't get that. How many people going to give a check?
Well, I'm just going to say about 300 million.
No, that's too many people, right? Keel, airwaves. How many people we get a check for the money taken? Give me the number. If there's 330 million people, how many people are eligible for a check?
That's probably like 270 million.
270 million?
I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
If you gave $50,000 to 270 million people, how much money is that? Somebody do the math there.
It's like I think it's 13.5 trillion. If it's 270 million. That's not a billion. Like a billion would be
15 trillion, Doug says.
Yeah, it is trillion. It's not a billion, it's trillion.
All right, so that my experiment failed and flopped on its face.
Yeah.
So $5,000 is 10 times less than that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wait, wait, how much is 5,000? If they gave checks to $5,000 checks to everybody, how much money is that?
5,000 would be 1.5 trillion. Roughly.
All right. Forget about it. Either way, it's blood money. They can shove it up their ass. They're not changing their behavior. That's what I'm saying. And you don't need USAID to have regime change. Anyways, so we just played Donald Trump. We're going to play it one more time. Let's play it one more time. And what we're going to do is we're going to play some old videos, right? We're going to play some old videos that are going to show you what we were saying in time from 3 years ago about Pfizer and whatnot. So
you want to play the other video?
Let's play the him booing, and then we'll go into it. So therefore, if somebody's watching it from this point, They can just watch it. Just so
So
they
you
know
want to play the
exactly.
booing again?
Yep, the booing one more time, and then we'll go right into the other video.
Thank you very much. We also have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen. Thank you, Albert. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
What are you
now we're
doing?
going-
Go into
we
the
wanna-
videos. We're
we're
gonna
not
we're
gonna set 'em
now
up?
we're gonna play videos that we played a couple years ago about Pfizer. Yeah, go right into
Right.
it.
This is the first one. It's going to be about the judge reacting to the FDA delaying the release of the papers for 75 years.
No, we're supposed to play the other one first. One with me and Fee.
Oh, the long one?
No, the one.
Oh, okay. The Pfizer CEO admits the vaccine is nearly useless.
We're going to
against
play that
Omicron.
one first, and then we're going to get into the whole holding back, and then we're going to get into
This
them
is why we need
playing
to
a
set the
Pfizer
video.
children's ad. Yeah,
We need to set the video up. All right.
you should have the video set.
I have the video up, but
Look.
we got to set it up for the audience.
All right, here we go. We're going to play these videos. These are old school videos. Put a banner up, I said.
I will.
All right.
Do it.
Well,
Okay.
Then let's take us down. Let's get into it.
All right.
Right now, we're going to just roll right into this. Okay, so pretty much the other day, the Pfizer CEO admitted that the vaccine is nearly useless against Omicron. So I put up Viva Fry's tweet, but I put up a different video that was a little clearer. But he just said, holy shite, the tweet with the video from the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, saying that the vaccine offers limited, if any, protection against Omicron, and it's been deleted and removed from social media. This is a whole lot of bull crap. Take a look. Here's the CEO.
And we know that the 2 doses of the vaccine offer very limited protection, if any. The 3 doses with a booster, they offer reasonable protection against hospitalization and deaths. Against deaths, I think very good. And less protection against infection. Now, we are working on a new version of our vaccine, the 1.1, let me put it that way, that will cover Omicron as well. And of course, we are waiting to have the final results. The vaccine will be ready in March.
Damn, I couldn't find your tweet that you had to Walker Bragman when he was saying something. You're like, yeah, let's get 1,445 more boosters. Duh! Another booster's coming out, family. This one doesn't work. A new booster's coming out, fam. Get the new booster.
So Israel is the most vaccinated country, and they're literally breaking records with how sick they are. That says everything. I think, was it Ryan Christian or somebody had shared that on Twitter, and it was like an actual graph just showing how so many people are getting infected, and they literally are like on their 4th booster. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, that it's obviously not, at the very least, it's not working. At the very worst, it's actually working against us, right? Because what we've talked about before is it makes you dependent. You don't have immunity. One of the things that actually, when we were in Nicaragua with our friend Terry, what we were discussing was how me going to Latin America, I get sick all the time. My stomach, like, it just can't take a lot of the food because I don't have the proper bacteria that is in other countries. And so what you mentioned was that the U.S. requirements, the Food and Drug Administration requirements, are so ridiculous that a lot of us from the States, we don't develop immunity to be able to eat things that would be okay for you to eat if you lived in other countries. Yet we have, pesticides and all these chemicals in our food, but we don't develop this sort of strong stomach that other people in other countries do, which is why when we go to other countries, we get sick. And once you're in those countries for a while, then you start building up a tolerance. But it's the same thing with I think these vaccines. It's like, you have to allow this endemic. This is an endemic. You have to allow our bodies to become adjusted to it. And so now people are saying that allowing people to get better, which is something that happens, and gain natural immunity, which is a natural scientific occurrence that happens after you recover from a virus. is eugenics, Costa. I was told I was promoting eugenics by saying that natural immunity is a reality. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. By a communist.
A cappuccino communist is the world's turned upside down. Is it not? Is it not? You're promoting eugenics by telling people not to get the shot. But you go ahead and trust Johnson and Johnson.
Not even just saying a scientific fact. Like if you get the virus and you recover, which 99.7% of people do, you have natural immunity. That's eugenics. It's the dumbest shit I've heard in like a while. The dumbest tweet I saw.
And like I said, the thing that's pissed me off right now is people aren't talking where this Omicron is coming from. It is not one of the predecessors because it's not a mutation of Alpha, Beta, or Delta. It's its own thing, and we're going to have to look into that. But one of the treatments I want to tell people about real quick too, as well, because we did talk about, Benny was talking about ivermectin. Go along with the treatment, the ivermectin, the zinc, the Z, the C, the D, but get one of those nasal rinses, guys. Like we got some of them sent to us, I believe by AREM. I'm not sure exactly. Or was it Anna Maris? Somebody sent us some of the stuff because when we were going out into the field, when we were having all the gas attacks, right? They would tell you to put the stuff up your nose. It's a saline solution, and everything would come rushing out because it would be up in your sinuses. Get it out there, rushed out. Same thing with Omicron. Squeeze that saline solution up the nose. Have everything. You do it in the shower. Everything comes out. You want to get it because Omicron is an upper respiratory and it's carried over here. That's why it's being passed around like an hors d'oeuvre tray at a party, and everybody's catching it because it's all upstairs. My 81-year-old mother used the protocols that I used. We had a day and a half of symptoms, and then we just had to ride things out. That's the way you go after this sucker. So I just wanted to mention that. The next clip I have over here, too, fam, is, we continue to say you have the CEO over there saying that it's not working. I was wondering if he just had like a Freudian slip and said, oh, shit, I wasn't supposed to say that. But here we go. We have the CDC director. These people can't even get on the same page. Take a look at this video from 5 times August.
So the vaccines are incredibly safe. They protect us against Omicron. They protect us against, so the vaccines are incredibly safe. They protect us against Omicron. They protect us against.
And we know that the 2 doses of the vaccine offer very limited protection, if any. The 2 doses of the vaccine offer very limited protection, if any.
They protect us against Omicron. They protect us against.
Very limited protection, if any.
Sorry, fam, you lose. What do you get? A free toaster. They can't even keep it straight with them amongst each other, fam, at this point. They can't even keep it together. I mean, you can see this. Who do you believe? Who do you trust? Right?
Right. I mean, there's just been so much contradiction throughout this whole pandemic. And I think that's why I think a lot of people are waking up and seeing what is actually happening, because they're like, initially people just did what they were told, but now it's like, wait a minute, like you said this and now you're saying this. It's too obvious now. And they're definitely losing this narrative, which is why you see that they're trying all these other things to get people to succumb to obey.
By the way, there's another tweet just showing that this media has been disabled in response by the report of the copyright. There was a lot of people who had that same tweet. They took it down right away. Unfortunately for the CEO of Pfizer, people out there recorded it and have been sharing it out there. So even though you had that Freudian slip and told the truth, you can't take it back. No takesies backsies, so you lose. Fam, you were showing, you had a whole section on the World Economic Forum. Here's back in 2018, the CEO of Pfizer talking about a chip in a pill. And this is also just, once again, like at this point I say, fam, what are they messing with us here? Are they telling this stuff on purpose? What are they doing to it? What is real? Where is up? Where is down? Take a look at this. You can see that beautiful World Economic Forum right in the background.
Again, maybe I will use an example. I think it's fascinating what's happening in this field right now. I mean, FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance, the insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
If you don't take it, fam, they're going to show up at your door because, like, excuse me, sir, you haven't digested your pill for today. Can you please do so?
I watched a movie called Songbird that's on Hulu, and I think I told the chat about it, that it was a movie made in March of 2020. Literally, no, I'm sorry, right after March 2020. It like came out December of 2020, which means it was made right around the pandemic. And it was like you had to take a pill and every day or you had to take a test every day. You had to take a test, and if your temperature was above and you were sick, you would, like, they would come to your door and like take you away to this zone where you would never be seen or heard from again. But if you were stuck with a family member that was sick, even if you weren't sick, they would still take you. And everybody was trying to get these bracelets that were like the bracelets that said you were immune. But all the immune people were like the Uber drivers and the delivery people that would work. And the rich people would started a business where they had these bracelets and they sold them for like thousands of dollars to whoever wanted to get access to go roam around. And like, I mean, they tell you, you ask, like, are they just playing with us? No, they tell people this because they know that the propaganda, mainstream media, and their idiots in progressive media now are going to say that there's nothing wrong with this. They're just saying, things. Some of these things are good. What's so conspiratorial about it? Why are you being a conspiracy theorist? So that's why they don't worry about it, because they can flat out tell you all these things and also paint like any criticism of it as conspiracy theory as well. So,
Bam, you've gone complete right wing, right? You narrow the Red Round Alliance. You're now.
I am a fascist. Accordingly, I am a fascist.
You are now the fascist, and you're promoting eugenics. By the way, fam, keep that tinfoil hat on. It's so funny. Some of the stuff you were saying was some of the stuff that like Sam Tripoli was talking about on Union and Unwanted the other day. But while we have the tinfoil hat on, take a look at this one. The National Catholic Register says Pfizer and the Vatican. Sources say that Pope Francis met privately last year twice with the Pfizer CEO, Albert Bourla. And you can see him right over there. And let's just go to the article real quick because this is crazy. The Register has learned that the Pope Francis privately held undisclosed meetings with the CEO of Pfizer last year as questions arise over the efficacy of the vaccines in preventing transmission, which are now being mandated for all Vatican staff and visitors. According to the Vatican sources, the Holy Father twice met with Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla at the Vatican, although the precise details are unknown. Unlike most PayPal private audiences, these meetings were not announced by the Holy Secretary Press Office, which did not respond to repeated requests to confirm the meetings. A Pfizer spokesperson said, "We can't confirm or deny, fam. As per our policy, the movements of our executives are considered confidential." Bourla's meetings with the popes would not be the first such unannounced PayPal encounter in recent years. In November 2019, shortly before the COVID-19 health emergency began, the Pope privately received Melinda Gates. The meeting in the Vatican was not announced and has never been officially acknowledged. Last May, Bourla took part in an online Vatican health conference titled "Unite to Prevent and Unite to Cure" that included significant focus on COVID-19 treatments and prevention, as well as providing a platform for promoting vaccines produced by large pharmaceutical companies, fam. It doesn't get any more crazier. The plot even thickens. The story continues. I don't know what to believe. What is up? What is down? What the hell is going on, fam?
I think it's going right along as planned, Pasta. I've never been a fan of the Catholic Church. You know this. I told you about how I rebelled when I was 10, and I was being forced to go to catechism school, and I said no because the church has always been corrupt, and it's always been one of the richest and wealthiest industries with the most power throughout every century. You can find pretty much how the church was involved in a war, involved in the throning of a certain king or queen of a certain power. And so this is no surprise to me that in the modern age, they're going to be involved with those who are in power. And those who are in power today are the pharmaceutical industries, obviously the large corporations that own them, Vanguard, BlackRock, Bill and Melinda Gates, all of these people. So it's no surprise that the church is involved. They could pretty much put what's her face, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, because she said that God told her that these people needed to be. I mean, this is the same thing. This is the same bullshit.
Sam.
Yes.
Disciple. Don't snitch on people.
Let's all be disciples. Yeah. I'm about to exercise all these people, fam. I'm about to exercise all these people of the mass psychosis they have.
Start summoning some demons to come fight for us over here. Fiorella Isabel says of Ignatius Riley, aka the last American vagabond, you're all dunces. This is beyond disturbing. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
Au vaccin, vous autres? Oui, tous les deux, on a une seule dose. Ah oui? Puis est-ce que vous êtes d'accord, vous autres, avec la vaccination obligatoire? Oui. Oui? Oh. Ah oui, hein? Wow. On dirait que je les ai drillés, Julie. Oui. Puis qu'est-ce qu'on devrait faire avec les gens qui ne veulent pas se faire vacciner? On devrait appeler la police. Oh, oui. Oui. S'ils n'ont pas leur vaccin, ça peut mettre beaucoup de personnes en danger. Fait que comme le gouvernement est en train de faire en ce moment, il faut leur couper petite chose à petite, jusqu'à temps qu'ils se tannent et qu'ils se fassent vacciner. En tout cas, on a des futurs politiciens à côté de nous. Merci. Merci beaucoup à tous vos invités.
Pam, we're not going to Canada. I am not going to Canada. I ain't going to Australia. I ain't going to New Zealand. That is some scary, scary shit, the way they're indoctrinating our children, fam.
I mean, it's disgusting. It is deplorable. It is disturbing. It is appalling. I mean, I don't know what other adjective to use. So so indoctrination of kids to me is a crime, because what they're doing is they're trying to set these kids up to be little fascists, to be little cops. And there's no need for that, because if you look at the logic, the science, and the data, getting vaccinated or not, you're still catching this virus. People, whether they're vaccinated or not, are getting this virus. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? The treatment matters. The protocol matters. And so for them to weaponize children, and that they were so gleeful, Pasta, clapping, like, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is so disturbing. The Nazi youth is what somebody commented. And when we talk about mass psychosis, this is what we're talking about here. Just people massively being proud. They're proud that they're indoctrinating kids to think this.
Guys, we're $30 away from 500, guys. We want to talk to somebody. Hopefully, we're going to get a hold of, we're going to be in the VIP. It's not the VIP tent. It's the press tent. We'll be getting press credentials for this situation. I think if we do get a chance to speak to Dr. McCullough, we've already had him on the show before, but we should ask about this mass psychosis, this mass formation, about how people just follow and get in line. And I feel bad for these children because they are victims, are they not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Roman Barber, Watch Minister of Misinformation, threatens physicians for expressing a professional opinion on an evolving scientific matter. It's a chill on speech to be expected of dictatorial regimes. This is after misleading us about hospitalizations for over 2 years now.
This is Canada, right? So yeah, okay.
We.
Before I hand things over to Dr. Moore, I want to respond to some extremely concerning reports that some doctors are spreading misinformation about vaccines. At a time when it's never been more important for Ontarians to have confidence in the safety and effectiveness of vaccines, this is unacceptable. I will be sending a letter to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario, urging them to do everything that is possible to put an end to this behavior. They should consider all options in doing so, including reviewing the licenses of physicians found to be spreading misinformation. This behavior takes away from the unceasing efforts of the vast majority of physicians who are working to protect us all.
Fam, they're doing it in the name of protection. Fascism in the name of protection, to keep you safe. Let us, big brother, big sister, do what's best for you because we know better, fam. And I'm going to put an end to this. How dare you have an opinion?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Canada was always lauded by many progressives as being one of the places that's better. But a lot of people have been saying, and I think some of our viewers are from there, that it's not that much better. I mean, they have healthcare, but that's about it. And the healthcare system isn't even the one we wanted to emulate because there are better healthcare systems. So at the end of the day, you have neoliberalism, you know, going wild in Canada with less guns and just less ability for people to defend themselves, more compliance. And while I think that you're going to find opposition, perhaps you're going to find resistance in Canada in the Native American communities within. Those are, I think, the sectors where you're going to find some opposition to, and like the more rural communities. It seems like that's where the opposition is going to come from against totalitarianism from everywhere in the world. And I've seen that as much in the global South as I have here in the States. And it's a completely different point of view, Pasta, when you're in rural areas of the global South. The same way, they're not really, you know, going right in line with the sort of like, you must be masked and vaccinated all the time. And it's these populations that I think you're going to see the rebellion, which is why, again, I go back to what do we do in these terms? Is I think we need to understand that becoming self-sustainable is a step in the right direction.
Fam, what do we do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go live in a place where I'm off the map and where coconuts, avocados, and mangoes fall on my head. That's what I want. That's Pasta's dream, because I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. If I got to be around here, just plug me in, plug me back in, like Joey Pantaleone said in The Matrix. And I don't want to remember anything. Maybe someone special that's consumed with all the other bullshit, because this shit is scary. All right, that's number one. Number two, let's go with the one I put the timestamp on. Do you have that one ready with the 1:28:39? Because that one, that's kind of a continue. We'll finish up with the Tim Canova one last. But you can see we aired that back in 2022, right in the middle of that COVID sucker, right?
The Tim Canova one's short though; it's only like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but it's about something. We'll finish up with that one. Let's do this one right now because it's talking about Pfizer and the children, right? So we talked about the children, we talked about the whistleblower, talked about a lot of things. Pretty good information for 2022, don't you think, Jayme?
Yeah, I mean, you guys were on it.
We were.
It just that there's a reason that was only on Rockfin and it wasn't able to be aired on YouTube.
We couldn't. That was the first time airing that piece on YouTube, by the way. And and this is gonna be the first time airing this one on YouTube for us. So this is the first and everything, guys. If you want to go over to the YouTube. We have over the Pasta to Go. Be a member over there, a subscriber. You can also leave a few bucks if you have it. You can leave it on Rockfin if you need to. Got all the links down below. But, you know, we just wanted to show some of the videos. Continuing with the children, listen to this one. This is me and feedback in 2022.
It's the children. You got to do it to the
children.
It's the children.
They're victims.
Never mind the adults that are affected about this, but it's the children.
Children. Just yet, they want to protecting the teachers at the school from the kids by masking them up. Bullshit.
Oh, actually, I kind of was on board. If I was a teacher back then, I would have probably been with the teachers on that.
Yeah, that's good. But I would have not, because I would have known it's always doing everything for the benefit of the children, not the teachers. Play the video. We're not having a conversation. We're going right into this. Here we go. 2022. Thanks for watching today. Look at
this
me.
Is TruthWire playing the Convo Couch from 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Here we go.
Because if anybody is promoting fascism right now, via these mandates, it's Joe Biden and the Joe Biden administration. So speaking of that, guys, so we don't get in trouble, you know, the vaccines are safe and effective.
Yes,
and
they are.
The election was called
that.
and Joe Biden won the election with 12 million more votes than Barack Obama.
Beat the record.
But that's what they say. So so we're gonna go on Rockfin in a little bit. We're gonna play a little bit of the video, and then Johnny, you can take us off of Rockfin. We're gonna play some of this video because it's important. Some of you see the video. The video is actually a public Pfizer ad. It's not the problem with the video. It's the problem with what we're going to say about the video. When Pasta gets on his rant, that's the issue. So Pfizer is using kids to promote their new under 12 vaccine ad, and they're calling it. Well, we'll let you say what the kids are calling it, because they even say it in the ad. Yeah, it's a trial. It's not. It's a trial. Yeah. You are the Beagle.
After the video, get on over to Rockfin. Karen, if you could put our links up there, get over to Rockfin. We love you, Karen M. Thank you so much for holding it down over there. Ian, another worldview possible. He's texted me. He's hitting us up on the chat. We love you. We'll talk after the video, fam. I'll hold my breath. I'll zip my lips, and then we'll go over to Rockfin, and then we'll go quicker.
After the video, let's cut the Rockfin, and I will tell Johnny Sue on that as well.
Getting ready to fight COVID. All of us want to be superheroes, and the most important heroes are those that help others. This year, thousands of kids like us around the world joined the COVID-19 vaccine trial. Kid power. And when they did, they became all superheroes. Ah! To all the kids who volunteered, we'd like to say, Thank you! Thank you for sharing your superpowers of courage, trying new things, the ability to save people, the power to help people, helping not just yourself but many other kids. To not be scared, be strong, super brave, bravery and courage. A superhero shot, helping everybody, fight coronavirus and help others. You're helping the whole entire world. Thank you. You are all superheroes. Thank you. Thank you, superheroes. Thank you. You're awesome.
So the video is not muted. This was the original video. Originally, when they switched over to Rockfin,
we had technical difficulties.
Okay, you can hear us now, right?
All
right. Cool. YouTube is cut. We are on Rockfin only, 146 people and climbing. Let's get more people over there. Like, share, subscribe. Fam, we got some trolls over here. We got 3 thumbs downs. We usually don't get any thumbs down. I was starting to worry that we weren't attracting enough trolls to hate on us anymore. Now I'm glad that you're back. Please grab a seat. Make yourself comfortable. We're here for all of you. Fam, how beyond disgusting was that? I'm going to let you go first because, I've started this whole segment. Let's keep the children out of this. The other day, you put up numbers that show it's like 99.99% survival rate for children under 12 when it comes to the vaccine.
Yeah, even if you're under 18, it's like 99.98 or something percent. Like
it's
so the fact that they're weaponizing kids, young kids, right? To push this whole vaccine from Pfizer. Of course, I don't expect anything better from Pfizer. Pfizer's a big pharmaceutical company. They have countless lawsuits for the damage. They're not allowed to be sued on the vaccine though. And the mainstream media and of course the politicians are going right along with this, saying that you have to vaccinate your kids when literally they are more likely to be struck by lightning than to die from COVID. They do not need a vaccine. We have talked about numerous times on how these vaccines, what they do and what happens after you get them. At first, they protect you, but then after that, you're more likely to get infected than somebody who has natural immunity. And kids, they're likely to spread the virus because they're obviously in schools and stuff. But at the end of the day, they're not going to succumb to this virus. And what they use is they weaponize a few children who have underlying conditions who have actually succumbed to COVID, and or they say they have succumbed to COVID. It could be anything else. And they say, see, but I want to get my kid vaccinated. And you wouldn't believe, Pasta, the progressives I see online saying, I can't wait to vaccinate my kids. I'm so excited. They're going to be vaccinated. They're going to be ready for school. The fear is that this is going to be required for kids to go to school. Yeah. At that point, if I was a parent, I would take my kid out of school. Forget Republicans, critical race theory. Forget all this shit. This is the thing. You do not want your kids to go to have an experimental. They said trial. They said it in the ad. It's a trial, guys.
Trying things for others.
Experiment.
Yeah.
They're telling you to put your kids out to be guinea pigs for this vaccine that they don't know. They hope it works. They don't know how it's going to be. They've reduced the dosage by 1/3. They think it'll be fine, but we don't know, guys.
What we do know is that let's put this other one up over here. Pfizer adds ingredient to use stabilize heart attack victims in vax for the kids. Like, I mean, you can't make this shit up, guys. You can't make this up. But fam, what do you say to those people who say, well, when we went to school back in the days, you were required to have vaccines. There were mandated vaccines and whatnot. Do you have anything to say against that? Because I keep on saying, yeah, but those were vaccines that were out for 12 years, went through clinical trials. We knew what we were getting. Right now, you can't even sue these companies. They have qualified immunity, and this is an experiment. Any way you look at it, and why would you want to vaccinate your kid anyways when their survival rate is so high?
The infection rate of polio and other vaccines that were required there was data that the vaccines worked to keep you from getting it. There was all this data behind that. It wasn't experimental in the same vein that this is. I mean, this is beyond experimental. They have no idea what's going to happen. And there's a lot of issues that we're seeing in adults, from infertility to menstruation cycles to heart issues in men, to so many things. People are getting rashes, they're getting the neck pain, they're getting all these things. So all of this is happening, and that's in adults. Imagine kids who are healthy and literally don't need it at all whatsoever. Yeah. Like this is beyond disgusting that they're weaponizing kids to do this, because they know who their target audience is. They know that, the mothers, we're going to save our kids are in danger. The anti-vaxxers are putting our kids in danger.
That's fascist anti-vaxxers, fam. And when we listened to that CDC advisory committee for 7 hours of our life that we'll never get back, it was scary to hear a lot of California moms calling in saying we need to mask up and vaccinate our kids. Yep. I don't get it. This is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? You don't need this right now. This isn't proven to work. It's not proven to be effective. It's still in a stage of experimentation. You know what I'm saying? And there are other forms of treatment, whatnot. These are the things, the reason why people have conspiracy theories, and they kind of take them and they kind of stretch, because they say, all right, these companies, they have so much money. They don't need to do this for money. This is more than just about taking about money. This is more about eugenics. This is more about population control and stuff. That's why they say these things, because what is the logical explanation of why they would be vaccinating these kids?
Right.
That's why they say these things.
I have never in my life seen, I don't know, you're older than me, I've seen the level of obsession with vaccinating everyone. Even people who got it and they have the natural immunity, even people who say this might make me more sick because I have other issues and I can't get. Even they're trying to allow no exceptions, and they're trying to vaccinate kids who don't need it. It's not like when the flu vaccine was pushed out, they were like, so adamant about getting the kids vaccinated with the flu shot. It's not like you needed the flu shot to go to school. Think about this for a second. Like, this is a coronavirus. It's similar to that. Yeah. It's a SARS-CoV-2. Like, this is it. Like, so why all of a sudden are these people so hyper focused on vaccinated everyone, including kids? That does make me question a lot of things. It definitely made me question things, especially when you put everything together with what's been discussed at Davos and the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and pretty much the human engineering aspect of it, and involving technology into humans and fetuses, and controlling the type of people that are born. That's Gattaca for you. I mean, that's where we're headed, right? And so you start thinking like, well, if they are willing to experiment on a bunch of kids, what happens 6 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now?
Yeah.
When we start seeing side effects, you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to sue them. You're not going to be able, if anything happens to you. And if nothing happens, okay.
Yeah.
Still, why are they so obsessed?
Exactly.
With
That's
this
why
whole
we have to
thing.
ask that question. And what you
So-
just said over there too as well, that we don't even know the effects, because even smart people have told me, and once again, I wasn't great at science, I wasn't great at health, I was more of a history guy, more of a theater guy, sports guy, but they would say, oh, well, most vaccines, the bad effects take place in the first 24 hours and stuff, so I'm safe. And I just look at them with that face like, so you're going to tell me there can be no long adverse effects down the road and whatnot? What about the mice who died in 2 months? That's equivalent to about 2 years something happening over here and that. And the fact also too that the CDC is always accepted, fam. If you had chicken pox, if you had something, then you didn't need to get the vaccine because you already had the natural immunity. That's been thrown out the window when it comes to this whole situation. And I want to tip my hat off to Jimmy Dore, who's been doing really great work on this, coming on strong with Max Blumenthal, even seeing Dick Wolf change his mind the other day. And I hope more people get on this bus and so whatnot. The fact is that you take vaccines to protect yourself. You don't take vaccines to protect other people. That's the whole misconception of what's going on, the herd immunity, that we have to all do this for each other, whatnot. No, the most vulnerable, just like Robert Malone said, and he said this on several shows. He said this on Franco's show. He said this on You Didn't Know the Wanted. He said this on Jimmy's show. You take a vaccine to protect yourself. We should protect the most vulnerable, but everybody else, no. Go out there, get it, whatnot. That's real herd immunity. That's how we beat this thing. It's an endemic. Everybody's going to get it, like everybody's gotten the flu.
Right.
So we should be looking at what are the treatments, not what's the prevention. Prevention's already out the door. Remember they said 15 days to slow the curve? Well, we're in that, what, 25 months or some shit now? We're getting this. This is getting ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm glad to see a lot of leftists now coming around on this. We still have some people out there. Those trusted news lefty sorts. Yeah. There's soft mandates, Kyle Kulinski. Please, I mean, this is fucking so stupid for some of these people, but I'm glad to see there are people coming to the table, and that's what needed to do. We have to look at treatment, therapy, whatnot. Stop with these vaccine mandates. Push against them. It's crazy. Fam, 2 super rays, and I'll give you the floor for this last one because this is some great one. Manipulating data. Teresa Adlan, thank you for the super ray contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. And Corn Pop, how you doing? Some random trucker, Edward Durr, spent $151 on his campaign and is about to beat the president of the New Jersey State Senate, who's been in office for 2 years in his race. He's up 2,000 votes, and it looks like they won't be able to steal it away from him. Well, first of all, Corn Pop, hold your beer because they can steal it if they try, but maybe they don't want to steal it because, like Fam said, maybe they have no interest in certain people. They might look the other eye. There's only so much they can do. There's only so much they can rig without bringing up so much attention.
Right.
And I really liked our guest the other day. Was it Edwin DeJesus? He was running to as well. I wonder how he did. I liked his answers. He's starting. That's when you see progressives actually progress like that, his answers, they might have not been 100% of the way there, but he's listening to people who think differently than them. And that's important because that's not your enemy, the person who thinks differently than you. The people upstairs who's pinning you against each other, that's who our enemy is.
And also the fact that you look at city council is where you're going to see the most victories from the left and from any independents. It's because that's where you can actually enact a little bit more change, at least in smaller counties. LA County city council is difficult, but outside of like the major counties, city council is where you can have a lot of control. The mayor, position, they have a lot of pull with the police. And that's where I think a lot of you're going to see the local aspect is what you can control in your community right now. Because as far as Congress, it's next to impossible to enact any change. We've talked about Cynthia McKinney to this. Like it's crazy to see how much control they demand, how much you cannot really sway from what they want, or you are going to be smeared and outed. So
it's funny because this next topic we're going to go into right now, it's so funny because we were watching the whole thing with the NIH and EcoHealth Alliance, the way they kind of point the finger at each other. Well, they provided us wrong information. They didn't provide us with progress reports on time. Dr. Fauci technically didn't lie because he didn't know them, and they're doing it again right now here, fam. So please, with this next topic over here, this is great.
So this whistleblower exposed the Pfizer vaccine trial, submitted faulty manipulated data to the FDA. Okay. And this is this website, I gotta give it credit. I don't know if I put it in there.
And by the way, while you're looking for this, the Pfizer had to pay the biggest fucking lawsuit ever for manipulating data, about I think it was 10 years ago or 7. It was a 2014. I think it was. I can't remember. They had to pay. What when was it, Oz? We talked about this on To Hell and Back. They submitted faulty data that was fucking went to the public, you know what I'm saying? And they were able to fucking get away with fucking basically murder. They had to pay billions, but they made probably trillions, who knows?
Yeah, so this was from bmj.com, and that they're the ones that got this independent investigative journalist to do this research. So a regional director who was employed at the research organization Ventavia Research Group that was working for Pfizer to do the vaccine trials was told the BMJ that the company falsified data, unblinded patients, and employed inadequately trained vaccinators and was slow to follow up on adverse events reported in Pfizer's pivotal phase 3 trial. Staff who conducted quality control checks were overwhelmed by the volume of the problems they were finding. After repeatedly notifying Ventavia of these problems, the regional director, Brooke Jackson, emailed a complaint to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA. Ventavia fired her later the same day, and Jackson has provided the BMJ with dozens of internal company documents, photos, audio recordings, and emails. So we're going to go through some of these things they found. So they talked about poor laboratory management. On the website, they call themselves the largest privately owned clinical research company in Texas and list many awards. But Jackson has told the BMJ that during the 2 weeks she was employed at Ventavia in September of 2020, she repeatedly informed her superiors of poor laboratory management, patient safety concerns, and data integrity issues. Jackson was a trained clinical trial auditor who previously held a director of operations position and came to Ventavia with more than 15 years of experience in clinical research coordination and management. Exasperated that Ventavia was not dealing with the problems, Jackson documented several matters late one night, taking photos on her mobile phone. One photo provided to the BMJ showed needles discarded in a plastic biohazard bag instead of a Sharps container box. Another showed vaccine packaging materials with trial participants' identification numbers written on them left out in the open, potentially unbinding participants. Ventavia executives later questioned Jackson for taking the photos. When you conducted a double-blind experiment, you're not supposed to have that information viewed, which is why it's such a big deal. According to the trial's design, unblinded staff were responsible for preparing and administering the study, Pfizer's vaccine or a placebo. This was to be done to preserve the blinding of the trial participants and all other site staff, including the principal investigator. However, at Ventavia, Jackson told the BMJ that drug assignment confirmation printouts were being left in participants' charts, accessible to blinded personnel. As a corrective action taken in September, 2 months into the trial recruitment and with around 1,000 participants already enrolled, quality assurance checklists were updated with instructions for the staff to remove the drug assignments from charts. So they were not keeping up with the data entries. There was an email sent by the ICON, the contract research organization, which was Pfizer partnered on the trial. And they reminded them in September of 2020 that the expectation for the study is that all queries are addressed within 24 hours. ICON then highlighted over 100 outstanding queries older than 3 days. In yellow examples included 2 individuals for which subject has reported with severe symptom reactions. Per protocol, subjects experiencing grade 3 local reactions should be contacted. Please confirm if an unplanned contact was made and update the corresponding form as appropriate. So they didn't contact the people who were experiencing side effects and issues. That's what this is saying. They failed to do that, and they're supposed to do that as part of the protocol, and they didn't do that.
You should do it as part of logic, fam.
So yeah,
It's like,
right.
hello.
Yeah. Worries over FDA inspection. So regarding the FDA inspection aspect, documents show that problems had been going on for weeks in a quote list of action items that were circulated among the Ventavia leaders in August. And shortly after the trial began and before Jackson's firing, a Ventavia executive identified 3 site staff members with whom to go over e-diary issue/falsifying data, etc. One of them was verbally counseled for changing data and not noting late entry, a note indicates. So people were changing data and not noting late entry. At several points during the late September meeting, Jackson and the Ventavia executives discussed the possibility of the FDA showing up for an inspection. Then they showed a little bit more information on that. We're going to get some kind of letter information, at least when the FDA gets here. So they were waiting for the FDA, and then Jackson told the FDA, she told them all these issues. On September 25th of 2020, she called the FDA to warn about the unsound practices in Pfizer's clinical trial at Ventavia. She reported her concerns in an email to the agency. In the afternoon, Ventavia fired Jackson, deemed not a good fit, according to her separation letter. So this was the first time she was fired in her 20-year career in research.
So we're being honest. She's not a good fit. She's not going to help us manipulate the data that we need to manipulate.
Right.
We got to get rid of her. She's too honest. Get her out of here.
So again, so just to reiterate, they fired this person who informed the FDA about the unsound practices at this company that was working on behalf of Pfizer to do data and research for the phase 3 of the Pfizer vaccine trial. So they fired this person for saying, hey, they're not following protocol here. So that means that the FDA let Pfizer know that this was happening. And then instead of rectifying the issue, Pfizer fired the person who was sounding the alarm. Somebody you can definitely trust to put vaccines in your kids. Concerns raised. And this is just kind of like a summary of what happened in her 25 September email to the FDA. Jackson wrote that Ventavia had enrolled more than 1,000 participants at 3 sites. The full trial registered under NCTO 4368728 enrolled around 44,000 participants across 153 sites that included numerous commercial companies and academic centers. She then listed a dozen concerns she had witnessed, including participants placed in a hallway after injection and not being monitored by clinical staff, lack of timely follow-up of patients who experience adverse side effects or adverse events, protocol deviations for not being reported, vaccines not being stored at proper temperatures, mislabeled laboratory specimens, and targeting of Ventavia staff for reporting these types of problems.
Pretty much a shit show, fam.
Within hours, Jackson received an email from the FDA thanking her for her concern and notifying her that the FDA could not comment on any investigation that might result. A few days later, Jackson received a call from an FDA inspector to discuss her reports, but was told that no further information could be provided. She heard nothing further in relation to her report. This is a trusted FDA that people have been trusting to approve these vaccines. Does this show that you can trust the FDA? I mean, based on their actions, to me, it seems like they're working with Pfizer to cover up any concerns that a reasonable scientist and analyst on vaccines, a specialist, would have.
Yeah, well, when you see somebody says, well, the FDA has it approved, then I don't think it's really a faulty thing. Like we shared, I'm not going to mention that person's name, but you do have a lot of people saying, well, it's saying it's approved by the FDA now, so it's okay. I don't think it's a scam. I think it's legit. No, you can never trust the FDA. Yeah. We never could. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing, is that the FDA, along with Pfizer, hire these companies to get them the results they want. They don't want the actual results of what's going to be the effects or whatnot, the trials of the actual vaccine. They have a certain agenda and they want that proven. So they hire these people who are going to play ball. Plain and simple. It's almost like in the movie The Big Short. Remember the company with the ratings? They go over and they hire these people to give them the ratings they want. It's to play ball. You scratch my back, we'll scratch yours. You give us the results we want. So they understand what they have to do. They have to understand where they have to ignore symptoms or signs or effects, whatnot, because that will go against what they're trying to produce for their client that's going to pay them.
And just to allude to what you're saying, when people say that it's different because science is not merged with corporations, the government, it is. This is how it is. There you go. You're seeing it right there. The FDA is a government agency.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they are refusing to do anything when somebody who knows about the science and the data is saying this is not accurate, this is wrong, you're not following the protocol. That person is fired from the private company that's employed, that is, functioning on behalf of Pfizer. So you have the corporation, you have the private company, and then you have the government. They're working together to really serve a certain narrative and a certain agenda. So you can't say that vaccines are immune from that, because the government has merged with corporations and they have bought everything and everybody.
They know when to play dumb, when to play stupid. In other words, if they want to know the effects from right after the shot from some people having negative effects, well, they put them alone in the hallway and stuff like that. Did they report any effects when not? No, not at all. But you left them alone in the hallway. You didn't monitor them to get the actual results that would come up, because if there was an effect, that would go against the narrative that you're trying to produce. So they know how to manipulate this data. That's just when we talk about elections, we talk about the same way. They know how to manipulate data. And if they can manipulate the data and produce to the public, what they want, then they can control the narrative. And they can get people to fight against each other and say, well, no, the FDA approved it. And they said they did studies on it, and the studies came back okay. So I'm going to vaccinate up my kids. Well, it's saying they manipulated that data so they can give it to you, and they can say, well, what are you talking about? So when a whistleblower comes forth and say, look what's really going on, it really hurts their narrative. But this won't be on the mainstream media. I'm taking MSM. Rachel Maddow's not doing a show on this today, or Don Lemon, or no.
So in the document, Pfizer submitted a briefing document to the FDA Advisory Committee on December 10th, 2020, to discuss Pfizer's application for emergency use authorization of its COVID-19 vaccine. The company made no mention of the problems at the Ventavia site. The next day, the FDA issued the authorization of the vaccine.
There you go.
Okay. Had these problems come out,
Yep.
they wouldn't have been allowed to, which is why they stopped these problems from seeing the light of day. In August this year, after the full approval of Pfizer's vaccine, the FDA published a summary of its inspections of the company's pivotal trial. 9 of the trial's 153 sites were inspected. 9. Ventavia sites were not listed among the 9, and no inspection of sites where adults were recruited took place in the 8 months after the December 2020 emergency authorization. The FDA's inspection officer noted the data integrity and verification portion of the bioresearch monitoring inspections were limited because the study was ongoing and the data required for verification and comparison were not yet available to the IND, investigational new drugs. So they lie in a very, intelligent, pro-science.
Technically, they weren't lying.
Exactly.
It's ongoing. We haven't got to them yet.
Right. Yeah.
Please.
Sure. But you're putting these vaccines on people, these faulty vaccines, and this is showing you how faulty they are. In recent months, Jackson has reconnected with several former Ventavia employees who all left or were fired from the company. One of them was one of the officials who had taken part in the late September meeting. In a text message sent in June, the former official apologized, saying that everything that you could complain about was spot on. 2 former Ventavia employees spoke to the BMJ anonymously for fear of reprisal and loss of job prospects in the tightly knit research community. So even if they were already out of this company, they talk, so they could have maybe never worked again. Both confirmed broad aspects of Jackson's complaint. One said that she had worked on over 4 dozen clinical trials in her career, including many large trials, but had never experienced such, quote, a helter-skelter work environment as with Ventavia on Pfizer's trial. I've never had to do what they were asking me to do ever, she told the BMJ. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like something a little different from normal, the things that were allowed and expected. She added that during her time at Ventavia, the company expected a federal audit, but that this never came. And this person said, I don't think it was glued clean data. It's a crazy mess. A second employer also described environment at Ventavia as unlike any she had experienced. And since Jackson reported problems with Ventavia to the FDA in September 2020, Pfizer has hired Ventavia as a research subcontractor on 4 other vaccine clinical trials, COVID-19 vaccine in children and young adults, pregnant women, and booster dose, as well as RSV vaccine trial. The advisory committee for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is set to discuss the COVID-19 pediatric vaccine trial on the 2nd of November, which they're going to do. These people that did this faulty study are the same people in charge of approving this vaccine for children. Just want to reiterate that point right there. These people that refuse to let the information out, the truth, to the light of day, so people could see that these trials were ineffective, that
they were fugazi,
adverse reactions that weren't reported on, are the same ones that are in charge of producing the data for vaccination on children. I mean, I'm not making this shit up. It's all right there. These are multiple employees now. People are afraid to speak out because their careers will be ruined. But I thank them for speaking out in spite of that, even if it is anonymously. This is, I mean, I applaud the journalists who did this. This is amazing work. I just, you know, we know this, we knew that this was it, but this is just further evidence to back up the things that we have been talking about for months now, and some for years. That I mean, this is no surprise there, but you know, it just goes to show you again. What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth?
About 9 months, 6 to 9 months, right?
I mean,
that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is nothing that would surprise me. You know, I've
No.
seen whistleblower stuff come out there when it comes to the manipulating data, when it came to deaths and the adverse events, and even the way they classified people, fam, which they would do it right in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're not fully vaccinated until 14 days after your second shot. Now it's until 14 days after your third booster. Pretty soon it's going to be 14 days after your fourth booster. They'll keep moving the goalposts. They'll keep lying and twisting the data.
Realistically, now they're saying, oh, you should take the booster. Now they're encouraging people to take the booster. Then it's going to be you're not vaccinated until the booster. You can't do anything until you get your booster. Then it's going to be, oh, you need another one. Now you're not vaccinated until your second booster. When will people finally wake the fuck up? I hope it's soon, because we don't have a lot of time. Like I keep saying, we really, really don't.
That's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. The Convo Couch is hitting the road. We are going down to the global south. We'll be in Nicaragua this week. Look for us. We're going to do as many shows as we can. We don't know how the internet's going to be, but hopefully we'll film, we'll post, we'll do whatever we can do. Our PayPal is always open if you want to help us out while we're there and stuff like that. Help Pasta get good vegan food in Nicaragua. That would be another thing. We'll also probably, you said we'll probably put some type of GoFundMe up or whatnot. We'll get that going too as well. But we want to bring you the reports on how elections are run all in the global south, because that's the main thing they do is they say, oh, the Maduro, the Chavistas, they cheat these elections. Remember, even in fact, when they started this whole thing, it was the program that was created for Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. Like, get the fuck out of here, your stupid fucking asses and stuff like that. But we're going to go down. We're going to hit it hard. We're going to do some reporting. We're going to have a nice trip. We're going to report a lot of great information to you. Fam, got anything else before we get on out of here?
No, fans.
Well,
thank you so much.
For Pasta Jardula.
Fiorella, you read all the super rays.
All the super rays are written. Yep, Corn Pop was the last one.
Yep, perfect.
Thank you guys so much. For Pasta Jardula, Fiorella, Johnny Sue, Oz on the ones and twos.
Convo out.
We'll see you soon, everybody.
There we go. That was Pasta and Fee from 2022 talking about all of this COVID stuff that still seems to be relevant, but now we have more information coming out that's backing up the things that they were saying back then. They were way ahead of the curve. Also, I want to give a shout out to the chats and Rumble and on YouTube. You guys have been keeping it active, and the YouTube chat is cracking me up. I love it. A lot of people in there are fans of Kit over at Hard Lens Media, talking about the special events that they've got going on, and it's good times. So definitely, if you're not watching Hard Lens Media in the morning, what are you doing? Turn it. You're going to work. You're driving to work. Throw Kit on with your YouTube app on your phone and watch it from 10 a.m. to noon on Eastern time, or if you're in Central where he is, it's at 9 a.m. to 11. So you're probably already at work, or you're going into work when he starts playing. But if you can throw it on and like listen to it while you're sitting at your desk, definitely do that. He's got a lot of good stuff going on with his show. And if you can even join in the chat, I highly recommend it. He's got a great community. So, and earlier we had Kit on the show celebrating his birthday. Let me get this off the screen. That doesn't need to be there. So we had Kit on earlier celebrating his birthday, and he's going to probably have a big birthday weekend. But go watch that. All these people who are in the chat are talking about things that have been going on his channel early in the mornings, and it's nice to see you all here. So if you're watching us on Twitter, on X, that's what you're missing out on. You really should be checking out the live chat. It's pretty fun. Okay. We got one last video. I don't know where Pasta is. I think he had to step out for a second, but he'll probably come back on for the end of this. Popeye, you are cracking me up. I'm not sharing your comments. It's not that kind of show, but you're cracking me up. I just want you to know that. Okay. We got one more video we're going to share. This is called, this is where Pasta was with Tim Canova, and they're talking about a judge rejecting the FDA 75-year delay on the vax data. And some of you probably do remember this, where they tried to make it so that they didn't have to release any of their information about the vaccines for 75 years, which is just ridiculous. What were they trying to hide? So we're going to go ahead and play this video right now. I got to engineer the show while I'm hosting. I do not enjoy that. That's why they brought me in, because it's not an easy thing to do. Okay. I got it queued up. Here we go. So this is Pasta with Tim Canova. We got about 11 minutes of this video. And when it's over, it'll be me and Pasta to wrap up the show. So enjoy this from This is also from 2022. Here we go.
Let's talk about this FDA case, right? The judge rejects the FDA's 75-year delay on the vax data. This is just great. A judge rejects FDA's 75-year delay on vax data. He cut it down to 8 months, which is something I think is good. Something we needed to do. Let me read it over here. It's a little small. It says, a federal judge has rejected a request by the FDA to produce just 500 pages per month of data submitted by Pfizer to license the COVID-19 vaccine. He has ordered them to produce 55,000 pages per month, assuming there are roughly almost 500,000 pages. That means it will take just 8 months, Tim, to see what's under the hood. So I have a lot of questions for you, because I know people will probably go asking this. What stall tactics could the defense use to keep this timeline from going through?
Well, it's a good question. It really is. If defense does not comply with the court's order, the question is, what's the court willing to do? Is the court willing to impose sanctions that are meaningful and have teeth? And if not, then it's a meaningless decision in some ways. But I'm hopeful. I really am. It's going to require the plaintiffs to be willing to rush back into court and to spend money and resources if at the end of this month there's not a meaningful presentation of documents by the FDA, the Pfizer documents by FDA. And they've got to be on top of it every month to make sure that the defendants are complying with the court order. I was very pleased to see this. Just the fact that the FDA did not want to release these documents for 75 years, and you see whistleblowers being punished, dissenting doctors and scientists being punished. To me, this is in many ways the most important evidence that there's something wrong here, and that we need to slow down and discontinue the mandates and coercing people to take an injection they don't want. And, I would say to my friends who have already been vaccinated and some have already been boosted and who believe that this is the only way out of the pandemic, and that those who are not complying are being selfish and irresponsible and anti-scientific, I would say to them that we've got to ask ourselves, if this is truly the science, why does it have to censor dissenting views? That's not the way science works. It's a dialectic of challenging each other's hypotheses with empirical evidence. And to depart from that type of open scientific discourse and to have this kind of opaque system that's rife with scientific censorship, obviously it should point to the fact, it should point to the suspicion that the agenda that our loved ones have been following might be extremely flawed. It might be a lie that they've been following. And I really think that the cure for much of what ails us is more free speech and more discussion. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that from our big institutions, whether it's Congress or the press and the media.
Do you think that somebody can go to jail of this, or this is just going to be fines? Because we talked about it. I mean, we said, what if Pfizer says, you know what? No, I ain't showing you anything. You ain't looking at nothing. You get nothing. Nada.
It absolutely needs to be criminal contempt. And quite frankly, this has been the problem with the corporate crime sprees we've seen in the last 20 years, is that whether it's Wall Street banks that have been sued for defrauding the American public in what then was the greatest financial wealth transfer in human history, only to be exceeded now by the 2 years of the pandemic. And we saw those Wall Street banks were really given slaps on the wrist, where it might sound big. They're paying a few $1 billion here or there, but it ends up being a relatively modest percentage of their overall earnings. And there's no criminal liability that falls on actual human beings in the corporate structure and the governance structure. And it's the same, I'm afraid, so far with the big pharma industry. And I'm certainly hoping as the truth emerges more and more about how they've conducted this agenda and the kind of frauds that I believe have started at the very top of the FDA and the NIH. Unless they're punished with criminal sanctions, nothing's ever going to change.
Dr. McCullough is part of the whole mechanics to look underneath the hood, right? When it comes to this FDA case, what exactly do you think he'll be looking for more than anything?
It's a good question. I had a very good interview with him. It was on the J. Scott Ascension, and J. Scott has a YouTube and I think a Rumble channel. And I had asked Dr. McCullough about the distribution of the batches or the lots of the vaccines, that there's emerging evidence that only 5% of the lots have created 90% of the vaccine injuries. And he was not aware of this. And I take him at his word. I think he was speaking in good faith. Maybe he'll learn more about that by his role in this document review process that's going to unfold.
So last question, we'll get you out of here. We know you got to get going. At the end of the day, Tim, what would you bet on happening with this case? Do you think they're going to roll out this information, or do you think they're going to find a way to hide it? That's just a hypothetical I'm asking.
Yeah. What I worry is they'll turn over documents where the pages will be almost all redacted out, black ink and all that. And we've seen that in a number of other contexts in recent years. So that's what worries me. And it's, of course, the court has inherent power to force disclosure. But if the court believes that national security is at stake and things like that, the court might find a justification for backing off. I hate to suggest courts could be corrupted. I think there's a growing concern about that. There's over 100 federal judges who apparently were trading in stock that they shouldn't have been, and we see that happening at the congressional level as well. I'm really not capable of making predictions anymore. Life is stranger than fiction, and anything we can imagine, the reality ends up actually being crazier than our imagination sometimes.
Last statement for today in Reuters fact check. This is something here. Tim, you won't believe this one. Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla said in an interview that 2 doses of the BioNTech shot offered very limited protection against infection with the Omicron variant. He is not talking about protection against infection by other variants. In other words, the shot that they have, right, doesn't do squat for the Omicron. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
why would everybody not get a booster now? I mean, people are running out to get a booster. It does nothing.
Exactly. And McCullough referred to this as sort of the absurdity that we see. And he talked about it in terms of the mass formation psychosis. I talk about it in terms of propaganda. People have developed their worldviews. They've become committed to a certain position on the vaccines, particularly if they themselves and their loved ones have taken a vaccine, one of these experimental jabs. They don't want to sort of admit that maybe they should not have. But it is interesting to see how the goalposts have changed over the past 2 years, where, at first we were waiting for the vaccine because the vaccine was supposedly going to prevent us from getting COVID and prevent us from transmitting the disease. And now it turns out, well, the vaccinated are getting COVID and the vaccinated are transmitting the disease. So why exactly are people taking a vaccine and boosters? And again, they're taking vaccines and boosters that are still experimental. Most people have no idea what's in the vaccines or boosters. If I were going to buy a house, if any of us were going to buy some real estate, we'd go into contract and we would get an inspection done on the premises. And to not get an inspection done would be seen as absolutely something ludicrous. And yet, isn't this what people are pretty much doing when they're getting an experimental vaccine without sufficiently inspecting what's in the vaccines and what impact long-term these vaccines might have on their own health? It really is the view that of trusting authority, obeying authority, simply because it's authority. And that's an authoritarian mindset. Fascists don't come to power just because they've got more weapons than everyone else. They come to power because everyone else, or enough good-hearted people, wrongly trust in their authority and obey their authority. And, what had made this country great for so long was the idea of freedom and of disrespect for authority, of questioning authority. In a democracy, it's the authorities who should be accountable to us, the people, not the other way around.
Yeah, the compliance is only making things worse, Tim. It's only making things worse.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Tim Canova. And I think that's going to do it for the show today. Pasta had to go take care of some stuff for his mom. He's got some people coming over to help work with her right now. So he's taking care of that. So you just got me to close out the show today. Thanks to everybody who stuck around and watched everything. I hope you enjoyed those old videos that were talking about these current events in a different light, because we're in a different space now than we were 3 years ago, and apparently we can talk about this stuff now, but it wasn't okay then. And if it was true then and it's true now, why couldn't we talk about it then? That's the thing that you really got to think about. And it just kind of exposes a lot of the censorship that has been going on that's just wrong. We're supposed to be able to have this open discourse. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you all for being here. I'm Jayme CheeseSlice on behalf of Pasta and Fiorella, who's on assignment this week. They'll be back together on Monday. I'll be behind the scenes again running the show, which is what I'm really good at. So this isn't my thing. I don't like it. Oh, wait, there's Pasta. You are here. Okay. I thought you were helping your mom out. So
I am. I had to go help my mom out, but I saw the numbers grow a little bit on both Pasta to Go and the TruthWire.
Okay. Well,
and I had almost as many. Hi, honey. Hey, buddy. This is the cat down here. This is Revere. Oh.
Okay. I was just about to close it out.
I know. No, I was letting you go. I was smiling and watching you do your thing. You did a great job. Didn't he do a good job? But listen, therapy is here for my mother, so I have to get back in there because I have to learn how to do the therapy when mom is not here. Shelly, he doesn't like to be picked up, unfortunately. I don't pick these cats up. They get all stupid. If they jump up, he jumps up. He's starting to jump up. There's 3 cats, 2 girls and 1 boy. But
sometimes you just got to pick up the cat, even though they don't like it, just to be on camera.
Yeah, well,
they got to deal with it. It's the
yeah. No,
well, you know your cat's better.
So, what did you think of the videos, Jayme? Watching them for the first time?
It's just what it irritates me that had to be censored off of YouTube.
They
Like,
would
there's
never
nothing
play it
in
on
there that
YouTube
was-
ever.
There was nothing in there that should never have been on there. Even the Tim Canova thing shouldn't have been. Definitely shouldn't have been off.
That was right after that happened. Sassy Cats, yes. Yeah, I mean, guys, what'd you guys think in the video? Let me in the chat real quick. Let me know really quickly. Come here. Come here.
Let's see. Well, the chat was talking about other things, or at least the YouTube chat was. Oh, are you going to grab the kitty?
He won't let me pick him up.
Okay.
He's we're not there yet.
My parents' cats, I don't give them a choice. It's like it's time for you to go on camera. You can squirm and jump away, but you're going on camera.
I've never really picked this cat up before. He's never been cool with me up until like now. I mean, he's one of those cats that only is attached to one person.
Oh, okay.
And that was my sister. So recently he's been coming on my bed and coming up near me and let me pet him. So I don't want to ruin that. We're just building a relationship. So,
well, some cats are like that. You definitely got to be careful with those.
What's up, Anna Ringwald? Fucking old school in this place today.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
you, girl.
the chat has been bumping the whole time. I mean, they've been going. It's been great. A lot of side conversations, though. A lot of jokesters in there.
Yeah, of course. Okay, let them be there.
We're talking about some stuff that is just good old fun.
It is crazy, right? Cam Shwari, Kate, other old school person.
Oops, there we go.
Yeah, I love seeing these clips in the light of where we are at 2025, 5 years since the series of events came to light. I mean, what? Come on, come on. Oh, there's the therapist. I gotta go. I love you guys. Say goodbye to everybody. This is the next therapist. Peace. I love you. See you on Monday.
All right. There we go. And I think you're right, Katie. Piss off the cat and they will piss in your shoes. That is a risk that you run. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I mean, look, these cats are little murder machines. And they're always pissed off because we just want to pick them up and cuddle them and hug them when all they want to do is go outside and kill mice. I like watching cat behavior, but I am not a cat person. I'm sorry to hear that, Popeye. Cats are very nice. They get a bad rap. I mean, because they generally are a-holes, but they also can be very, very sweet too. And they do care about you more than people give them credit for. Okay, so here's Oracle of Truth, LT Oracle of Truth. You knew about Pasta from Jimmy Dore, but you didn't know about this show. Well, I'm glad you found this show. This is TruthWire. It used to be called the Convo Couch, and it's pretty much the same show. It's Pasta and Fiorella most of the time, but Fiorella is out today, so I'm sitting in for her. But they just decided to rebrand it, and now it's TruthWire. So if you did know about Convo Couch and you didn't know about TruthWire, I'm glad you figured that out now. But yes, he says they hit it. Or I don't know if you're a he, but Oracle of Truth says they hit it. Yes, YouTube does hide this show. It's very much suppressed. This show has been demonetized on YouTube. It is fully monetized on Rumble, but they do not promote it on YouTube. And it's on that list of, we're going to allow you to be on the platform, but we're not going to allow you to grow, and we're not going to allow you to get an audience. And what's funny is this channel did reach over 50,000 subscribers. Now it's below 50,000 subscribers because YouTube just likes to take away people from who were subscribers. They just take them away. So if you are watching, you should double check that you're subscribed and hit that button. Make sure that you are subscribed, because they definitely do that. I mean, I know you've heard this from everybody else you probably watch, but yeah, YouTube is just not good to people like us in this space. We are not in line with the mainstream media's narrative, and we're not in the acceptable part of the Overton window where you can be the acceptable dissent of the Republican space. So we can't be allowed to reach an audience according to YouTube. There was one other one here. There's something about cats. Cats are not my cup of tea, but they are hard to get into a pot of boiling water. That is very true. It's hard to just get them into a regular bath, but definitely going to be hard to get them into a pot of boiling water. And cats can be narcissists. Well, yeah, they can be, but Sometimes, I think they get it. I still think they get a bad rap, but I do like playing into the stereotypes. And here's Mouse FS. Cats are helpless when confronted by my snuggliness. They can be suckers for good petting. They love it. My parents they went and rescued one cat, and it was a cat that had an injury and lost a leg, and they adopted it like right after its surgery. And this was the sweetest cat I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this thing, I think it was just very thankful to actually have a home after whatever kind of traumatic event it went through. And this cat is also has got it's amazing. It gets along with other cats, which I've never seen before in my life. I know that there are cats like that, but I've never been around one. And so this cat adopted a stray that was in the neighborhood, and now my parents are in denial that they have two cats. So I say my parents have one cat, and then their cat has a cat. So this stray cat is now at their house. So when I was there, it's definitely a 2-cat house, but my parents are in denial about that. And this other cat, they've never bothered to name it, and I call it Porky Pie because it just eats like a pig. It comes in and just eats all the food. And for when they first started letting it in the house, which my mom didn't want to do, but the cat was too fast for her, and she couldn't get the cat out. It would just go in and just eat everything. It didn't matter what you would feed it; it would just eat it all, just like a Hoover vacuum, just sucking up all the food. Well, now it's been doing that for like 6 months, and it's starting to get picky. So that kind of sucks because they had a lot of old food that the cat they adopted doesn't like, and they were happy because they could get rid of some of that food. But now they're getting to that weird spot where the interloper cat is now becoming a little bit more picky, but still very, very greedy and still wants to eat as much as before. And I've been trying to like restrict how much food that cat was getting, but I'm not there 100% of the time. But man, when I remember when that cat was first coming around the house, it was very scrawny, and now it's a nice little tubby chonker cat. All right, here's one from Mastermind Hour. My folks took in a stray named Stella. 2 years later, they found out that Stella was a tomcat. Well, what do you mean by tomcat? A boy cat, not instead of a girl cat? Is that what you mean by that? It's funny. I don't know if this new cat is a boy or a girl. I can't. I don't know how to tell, and I know people say it's very easy. Well, I don't know, but the poor thing was starving. I guess you're talking about my parents' second cat that they deny is their second cat. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was starving because they were feeding it outside, so it definitely was getting food, but it was on a lean diet. And then once it started coming in the house, it was just like smorgasbord, and it could just eat whatever it wanted. Okay, tomcat equals male cat. Yeah. So they named a boy cat Stella. Well, cats don't care what their name are as long as you keep calling it the same thing. All right. So now we're talking about cats, and I was trying to end the show, but I like cats. I'm more of a cat person than a dog person because cats are much easier to take care of. I'm just reading the chat now. Everybody's talking about cats. So anyway, I could probably do that for another 30 minutes, but I want to end the show, and this is not the cat show. This is supposed to be about politics. So thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for joining the chat. If you can get in the Rumble chat or the YouTube chat and make friends with the other people in there, because you're going to probably see them on other shows too. And everybody in there seems to know each other, and it's good conversation. And I love seeing that. I love participating in it. While we're watching the videos, I was in the chats as well. So talking to people. And some of the people in there are brilliant, and some of them are really funny. It's really good times. All right. That's it for the show. I'm definitely going to wrap it up. I mean it this time. Thank you for watching on Twitter. Thank you for watching on Kick. Thank you for watching on Run Rockfin. Thank you for watching on Rumble and YouTube. I am CheeseSlice. Pasta already said goodbye. Now it's time for me to say goodbye. This is TruthWire, and I'm going to say it even though if he doesn't like it, but truth out. Have a good Friday and have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.